Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneakers Cleats podcast. It's Monday, September 22nd. This is episode 228. Matt Roy, Chuck Miketinac, Don Harris. No streaming today, so we will post this here as soon as possible. Guys, how was the weekend? We had a lot of interesting football.
Yes, we did.
Weekend.
It's a good weekend. We inducted a new class into the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I wasn't able to go to that, was it?
It was awesome. A lot of good people, a lot of good San Antonians. It's a great tradition in San Antonio. Got to see all the 99 Spurs, Jaren Jackson and Mario Elie, and a lot of guys like that.
Avery?
My man. He was there. Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff going on Saturday in San Antonio. We had Morgan's Wonderland had an inspiration gala where Harvey Nation was honored. That's where Jordan and I were on Saturday. And then there was another San Antonio or Texas Bar Association had a convention and a gala that night, and that's where some of the other big wigs in San Antonio were. It was like 3 different galas in 3 different parts of town that it was going on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but then there was a lot of good football being played. I did have the Arizona State game propped up at the dinner table at this gala, which worked out really well because we were at table 51 all the way in the back, so nobody was sitting behind me. So I was just sitting. Jordan calls me like her iPad kid. Because I'm sitting there streaming the game on my phone while the gala's going on, trying.
This is my
So yeah, I was hell of a win by Arizona State over Baylor.
Cup.
Yeah, pretty much. Jordan took a video of me like the gala going on, and then me just watching the game over here, like trying to keep to myself. But anyway, it was a beautiful gala. From what I saw.
Arch Manning bounced back.
Arch Manning did bounce back, so that was good. The Cowboys and the Texans are battling for the title of worst team in Texas. They both suck. Pretty bad. We'll talk about both of those games. Cowboys losing to the Bears, Texans losing to the Jags in an excruciating way. I think 3 turnovers for the Texans yesterday, so that was brutal. But we'll talk about all that, plus a storyline I'm already sick of when it comes to the Cowboys game for this upcoming weekend. So, guys, area code 228. Any guesses?
Nada. Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City is your guess? Area code 228. I forgot to do it, so I'll guess 2. I forgot to look. I'm going to guess North Carolina.
Okay.
Mississippi. Yeah, way at the bottom of Mississippi, right in the
Biloxi.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to it. So, let's start with the Cowboys. Regrettably, the Cowboys lose 31-14 to the Bears yesterday, and it's the same story in a different week, except they didn't score 32 points. You know, it was the same thing that happened against the Giants. Big plays after big plays, gaps in the secondary, wide open guys in the end zone, wide open guys down the field. Their secondary is just horrible. They're not getting any pressure on the quarterback to even make it difficult on Caleb Williams. But even if you make it difficult on him, it's not hard to hit Roma Dunze wide open in the end zone or DJ Moore wide open, literally nobody around him for 15 yards standing by the goalpost. And Malik Hooker running, trying to catch up with people when they're 15 yards past him on a flea flicker.
That wasn't him, though, on that play.
I mean, it's just there's people running wide open. Yeah. Like, they could have scored more than 31 if they really wanted to. They took their foot off the gas.
I'm not an X and O guy. I don't pretend to be a coach, and I'm not a big fan of Monday morning quarterbacking X's and O's. But as a novice football fan who never played real football outside of 7th grade, it looks to me like the Cowboys are playing zone when they should be playing man.
Well, they don't have any 1-2 play man. And Trayvon Diggs is getting burned in zone. So
what do you mean they don't have any 1-2 play man?
Who do you trust to play man coverage in that defense, in that secondary?
Diggs and Bland when they're healthy.
Yeah. Okay, there's your asterisk.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs went off with an injury again.
Yeah.
And that was after he got burned for the first touchdown where Roma Dunze ran by him for a touchdown in the first quarter.
They're lost in this zone.
Yeah. Well, they're playing in the first week. They played 100% zone defense. Second week, they played 97% zone defense. I didn't see the number yesterday, but from watching the game, I know enough football to know that they played a lot of zone yesterday.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very good.
It's not working.
But there's also miscommunications on the one that there was I think it was the DJ Moore touchdown where he was wide open in the back of the end zone. there's one guy playing man and the rest of the defense is playing zone. They don't even know what coverage they're in. Sanborn, the linebacker, was the guy who should have been in that zone to cover that, but he's running with the tight end on man coverage. Like, they don't even know what they're doing. There's so many missed assignments. There's so many unexecuted plays that are just so poor
and they're just standing
football.
around. And on that play, it was like the way we used to play 3-2 zone in basketball, where you just guard a spot on the floor and you don't really move.
Yeah.
Those guys didn't move.
They made Caleb Williams look like Dan Marino. Like,
Yeah.
Chuck, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I think my concern is that it's getting worse, right? I mean, pretty good effort in the opener against the Eagles. And then, obviously, there were a lot of busts against the Giants. And I was real apprehensive to single out one guy because there were so many in that Giants game. But, yeah, it was atrocious to then put that together a week later and have it be just as bad, if not worse, from your defense. I mean, it's a concern. I mean, on that flea flicker, you could see Kyer Elam looking and getting caught with his eyes in the backfield, and he froze. And while he froze, that was plenty of time for the receiver to get down the field. I mean, at some point, you have to guard your area, right? If a guy is fleeing outside your area, you have to know what the protection is on the back end. And there was just a lot of that. And it's seemingly, I mean, how many plays have they had of 25 or more in the last 2 weeks? 11? Something like that? I mean, you hope in a game, if you're the team that's on offense, that you can get 2 of those a week. If you get 2 of those a week, that's a huge win. I mean, to think that they've given up that many in a 2-week stretch, I mean, it's almost like you do have to figure something out in terms of, A, the communication, or scrap everything and, just go completely basic, because this is, I mean, just no resistance at this point.
You have to get some. You would think zone could work if you were pressuring the quarterback to get rid of it in a quicker period of time. But when he's got all day to sit there, you're going to pick it apart. He's got all day.
There's nothing exotic going on with the Cowboys scheme. Like, they're playing the most vanilla basic defenses, vanilla basic rushes, and they're just doing it horribly. Like, it's I haven't seen something like this in quite a while. Like, the regression from last year to this year, which last year their defense was bad. The regression from last year to this year is staggering.
Well, it was really bad. It was probably this bad this early last year. Remember the Saints game? They got better as the year went on. But I remember being in this exact same spot about week 2 or 3 last week. We were saying the same thing. They had lost to the Saints. Who else did they lose to? Where they put up, people were scoring 50 on them every week.
Yeah, I mean the Saints lost like 6 in a row right after they beat them. But yesterday, I mean, the defense, the Bears were 8 of 14 on third down. That's way too high of a percentage on third. People are trying to average 40%, not 60%. They allowed almost 300 passing yards. I don't think they had a sack yesterday. They didn't force any turnovers. 385 total yards on offense. For the year, they're 3rd worst in yards allowed, 5th worst in points per game allowed, and 2nd worst on passing defense. So this is what Shoddy and I almost said Coach Jerry Jones. Oh, the owner Jerry Jones said after the game.
We'd love you for that.
We just didn't play well. We really didn't, and told the guys that. And this could be a humbling business. If you don't take care of business, you don't play well, then you're not going to win. And what I pointed out to the guys very clearly was, we got to stop giving up big plays on defense, and we got to stop turning the ball over on offense. I mean, it's a bad formula.
If we can't cover them, there's not but one thing to do, and that's try to rush them up. But we've got to get better. We've got to get better. We've got to get more on the page. I'm confident we will, but we've got to get more on the page. And this is inordinate to have that many big plays.
Yeah.
I'm not as confident as Jerry.
Yeah, no crap. I don't know how they fix it. I honestly don't, because with the personnel they have right now, Deron Bland's going to come back eventually. I don't have any faith in Deron Bland to be able to stay in front of anyone either. I've been the biggest Trayvon Diggs critic over the last 3 years. He sucks right now. He is not a good football player at this moment, and he's not deserving of the $20 million contract that he's making.
I said the same thing to Chuck yesterday. I said, remember in training camp when he kind of Jerry took a backhanded shot at Diggs when he was talking about Micah's money, saying even when you pay these guys money, it doesn't always pay off. Look at Diggs, look at Steele. And I think he was talking more about injuries, but you could make the argument that Diggs was kind of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
You have said that. I'm not going to go that far over to the other side at this particular juncture. I mean, we're talking about week 3 because it's a collective group that's pulling this off and making it look bad. It's not just one guy.
But when you have guys that are that highly paid, that are supposed to be the leaders on your team, and that one of them doesn't like making tackles on the outside, and when he does go and make a tackle, he does something to his shoulder and is out the rest of the game. And I think the Cowboys defense actually got better when he left the game. Like he is right now, I think you would have to pay somebody to take his contract off of you. Like, you would have to give draft picks away to get rid of him at this point. He's that bad right now.
Well, I mean, you need your best players to play their best, but this is a collective thing going on. There are busts all over that defense right now. They're not playing together as a group, and it shows. And, it's not like they're not trying to find answers, right? There are a lot of guys getting subbed out in the middle of the game 2 weeks in a row. I mean, I had to look up who 25 was yesterday.
They don't have the bodies. They don't have the players. They don't have the personnel in the secondary. Like, the scheme sucks too. But their secondary personnel is just not good.
Are we surprised?
A little bit.
Really?
I thought their secondary would be a little bit better than this.
I mean, I think
Nobody expects to be the 28th worst defense in the league.
Vegas all had them at 6.5, 7.5 wins. They put all their money in 3 guys, and now they've given money
2 guys.
CD, Dak, and 7, right?
Well, yeah, but Deron Bland makes more than 7 does.
Well, now he does, and then so did Smith. They just paid the left tackle. So they
Left
gave,
guard.
Yeah, they gave all the money to those guys, and they're left with guys like Seward, who 25. What was his name?
27, yeah.
What was 27's name? 25's name?
Stewart.
Don't put me on the spot like that, please.
Sanborn.
Yeah. Former Bear, Jack Sanborn.
Elam, and Spanford, and
Well, and
their roster sucks.
Well, and speaking of the roster sucking, you also leave that game really banged up. CeeDee Lamb is not going to play this week. I just saw on Twitter while we were sitting here. Cowboys wide receivers from Adam Schefter. CeeDee Lamb suffered high ankle sprain, unlikely to play Sunday night. Cowboys want to see how he does over the next 10 to 14 days before making determinations about his future. So now you're missing your best weapon. Trayvon Diggs, in theory, is your best defender, and he's probably going to be out. Like, he got hurt again. Kenny Clark limped off, the guy that you just traded Micah Parsons for. Like, it's all bad for the Cowboys
No, it's not.
right now.
No, it's not. There's 2 things that are very good. Dak Prescott and I'm the biggest Dak basher there is. Dak Prescott has been really good, and 33 has been a great surprise.
Except
for the fumble.
He wasn't even a fumble. He just got it
taken
taken from him.
But he runs hard.
They went up to him and they were just like, "That's actually my ball. Thanks, though. Appreciate it. Appreciate you holding it for me."
I'm impressed with how hard he runs, how he finds gaps. I didn't think he would be as good as he is, and as easy as we are to pick on Dak all the time. What was he yesterday? 31 of 39.
But they are also not. They weren't really taking shots down the field. I mean, Jake Ferguson had 13 receptions for 82 yards yesterday.
They just took what the defense gave him.
Yeah, and that's fine, but you scored 14 points on a defense that allowed 52 to the Lions the week before.
I think you'll find teams in the future do the same thing. Like, take the deep threat away from Dak, make him beat you over and over and over again, which he will with the underneath stuff. And then at some point, he's going to make that throw that he made into the end zone that was intercepted.
Well, we've seen time and time again when you lose a key part of your offense that your game plan goes out the window, especially when you lose it early. We saw it with Tony Pollard in that playoff game a couple of years ago. We saw it with CeeDee Lamb yesterday. We saw it week 1 with Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. He was a huge part of their game plan. They basically had to scrap the game plan in the first quarter and then come up with something new.
Yeah.
So when you lose somebody like that, your offense definitely takes a hit. But when you don't score in the second half of a game against the Bears and you had time to make those adjustments at halftime, and it's a team that allowed 52 points the week before to the Lions. Yes, the Lions have a good offense, but it doesn't give you a lot of confidence that you can win these games. But I was just talking to somebody yesterday. The Cowboys lose games that they're supposed to win all the time, but they also win games that they're supposed to lose. So it would be such Cowboys to come back and beat the Packers this weekend. I have no doubt that they will make that a competitive game.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be not the game that I would have thrown out there to think that they would.
I think they'll win. I think they'll win this weekend.
I think they'll be good
really
inside the division because that's where you put a lot of your energy and focus. And I might agree with you if the Packers not literally given a game away in the last 3 minutes of that game, and when they had 14 penalties or something like that. So
I know the
in
one
a place where they feel very comfortable playing.
I'm starting to wonder why Bob's not here today. Because
yes.
because of the Browns.
Too many libations?
Too many libations on that
okay.
Browns win.
I went through the Cowboys schedule this morning. I do think there's a little relief ahead. There's the Jets and Panthers. And the Jets are 0-3 and the Panthers are 1-2.
They destroy the Falcons yesterday.
Yeah,
So-
their defense
so-
is
That was
damn good.
surprising.
I think those are a couple of games they could win. But then after that, you go through the rest of their schedule, and it still comes back to about 7, 6, 7, 8 wins. And that's what everybody had before the season started. And I don't think it's a huge surprise.
All right, here's the real question. Are the Texans worse?
No.
You don't think the Texans are worse than the Cowboys?
No, they had 3 games that they could have won.
They
were
can't
driving.
score. They
They
have the
can't.
exact
No.
opposite issue. What do you mean they can? They can't score.
My proposal is that we have a team called the Texas Texans, and we use the Cowboys offense and the Texans defense.
That would be
and
a really good
combine
team.
them and make them the Waco Texans.
That'd be a really good team. So
for you. I'm all for it.
Texans lost to the Jags yesterday, 17-10.
Gave it away.
Before we go off the Cowboys, I'm already sick of the Micah return storyline. That's what I teased up front. I'm so sick of it already. They played the preview last night during the Chiefs and Giants game.
Of course they're going to sell
And I'm
that.
like, God, just get me to Sunday so I don't have to watch this
You don't think I'll
anymore."
be selling that all week for the new?
Everyone's going to. I'm already sick of it. Whenever I see Micah in a Green Bay uniform against the Cowboys, I'm turning it off.
7:20 on News 4 Sunday night.
I'm turning it off. I'm gonna do it on mute because if Chris Collinsworth was doing saying what he said about Mahomes last night, I can only imagine what he's gonna say about Micah Parsons and all the.
What's the over-under
Euphemisms that are
for
gonna be on
Micah
there.
sacks on Sunday?
It's probably
I don't
gonna be a
know.
half a sack, but.
He didn't do a whole lot in the last game.
All right, let's get to the Texans. So the Texans are now 0-3 for the first time since 2020. They did start 0-3-1 one year, so but their first game was a tie, so I didn't count that. That was
The
in
only team in the
2021.
last 20 years to make the playoffs after starting 0-3 was the Texans.
Was it really? What year?
I know you're going to pin me on that. I just looked this up last
Did you not
night
expect me
'cause
to
I was
ask
trying
you
to,
this?
Was
this
it
guy's
2
not following.
2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was D'Amico's first year.
Yeah.
They didn't start 0-3 that year.
That might have been maybe not his first year.
I don't know. Anyway, so the Jags beat the Texans. The Texans were losing in the entire game. Then the Jags turn it over. Then the only offense that basically the Texans had all game was a 50-yard touchdown to Nico Collins. And then they lose. So basically then Brian Thomas has a 46-yard pass. They essentially let Etienne score so they have another chance. And then C.J. Stroud's arm gets hit, interception, game over. So the Texans are just not good. They're not a good football team right now
Can't
on
protect the
offense.
quarterback.
They made all the changes on the offseason on the offensive line. You got rid of Laramie Tunsil. You get rid of all these guys. You bring in Deontay Ursery out of Minnesota. You draft him. You bring in these wide receivers and Christian Kirk and Jalen Noel and Jalen Higgins, and you can't get them the ball. I think Jalen Higgins has 5 targets in 3 games with 4 catches. Jalen Noel has 3 targets in 3 games with 2 catches. You can't get your receivers the ball. C.J. Stroud looks like he's lost because he's running for his life half
whole
the time.
game.
He looks broken. I mean, if I was a Texans fan, I would be dreading Sundays right now because they look horrible.
Well, their defense is really good, and they had a chance to tie that game, but they had a fumble from Nico. That cost them. I mean, they're just doing the wrong things at the absolute wrong time, right? They had 3 winnable games. All 3 of those games were winnable. They haven't won them. You know, maybe you need to panic at some point, but I mean, they're right there. They just got to start making plays, and I don't know what the answer is to that because, you know, they got Christian Kirk back yesterday, but, you know, he hadn't had much of a training camp with the team, hasn't been with the team, and so, you know, they finally got him back from his hamstring, but they're still not where they want to be from a receiver standpoint. They're obviously a little nicked up at running back. And then you couple that with the offensive line problems, and you got some issues. And they're not creating enough turnovers on defenses, which they absolutely need right here, right now.
Yeah, they're -3 in the turnover margin on the season. They have 5 giveaways and only 2 takeaways.
Missing Mixon really badly.
Yeah, and they can't run the ball.
Yeah, because of that, they're having to throw it, and everybody knows they can't protect the quarterback.
Yeah, and their offensive line's not creating
They
any
spent
holes
all
for Nick
offseason.
Chubb.
That was their entire offseason was changing the offensive line.
And it's not working.
It's not working.
No. Let's hear from D'Amico after the game.
Offensively, defensively, penalty in the end zone. You turn the ball over 3 times. That's tough to win in this league. It's tough enough to win, but when you put yourself in position where you're helping the opponent, like that's just not a good recipe for winning football. So until we clean up the things we can clean up, right, then we play winning football, then we'll have a chance to turn it around.
They went to like this 2-man kind of coverage, and I thought C. Kirk was open. I thought we maybe would have scored. And like you said, my arm got tipped, so unfortunate there. I made a good play, and that's the NFL. It's like 2-inch margins, and yeah, it just sucks because I thought I had CK down the middle, and I thought we had a good drive. We're moving the ball pretty well, so it's unfortunate.
They did start to get some things going later in the game, but when you just put yourself in that big of a hole and you're not creating turnovers and you basically don't have offense for 3 quarters, it's hard to get things going.
Yeah. Can we just say, Luis, can you throw up D'Amico Ryans without playing it? Just that shot of him on the screen. Can we just say that D'Amico
Offensively, defensively.
I muted it.
D'Amico Ryans' sleeves, lose the super, look like they've been inflated with like they're life preservers. Does he not have fantastic biceps? I mean,
He does this pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me
Just
of
ridiculous.
It reminds me of you remember a couple years ago when Myles Garrett goes up to, I think it was when the draft was in Cleveland, and he was wearing that green suit, and he looked like he was going to pop out of it. Like his biceps it looked like it was molded to his body. It could have been his skin. It was so tight on him.
Yeah.
Like that's what that looks like.
But those are not tight sleeves.
So those are tight sleeves. They weren't
Because
supposed.
of
They weren't
him.
supposed to
Yeah,
be.
that's what I mean.
So the next 5 for the Texans, you have I would call it a get right game, but it's against the 0-3 Titans, who on occasion have looked okay this year. So you're home to the Titans, then you're at the Ravens. You have a bye, then you're at the Seahawks on a Monday night, home to the Niners, and then home to the Broncos. That's a tough schedule to try and rebound from 0-3.
1 win, maybe 2. That's it.
Maybe Titans, Seahawks, you win those?
Broncos and 49ers' offense don't look like world beaters either, so
Hey,
it's hard to know 3 weeks in.
That hurt me.
Sorry, my friend.
That hurt me.
Well, I could throw my team in there too. I mean, you can only score 10 points against
Hey,
the Browns.
the Broncos are 8 games away from 7-1. All right, so
I think offense is down. I saw somewhere league-wide historic levels through 3 weeks. So.
yeah, I mean it's but that's how it always is, right? In the beginning of the season, defense outweighs the offense. They're always ahead of the offense. It's almost like this is the extended preseason for the first 3 or 4 weeks. There was a Stanford Steve over on ESPN, Steve Coughlin.
Is that any relation to Scuba Steve?
Maybe. He was like, I don't want division games being played in the first 3 or 4 weeks because division games are supposed to matter, and you put those at the end of the season because nobody is playing really good football in the beginning of the season. So, I mean, that makes sense, but it'll never happen. I think in those 5 games they go like 2-3, and then they're sitting at 2-5, and their season's done.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
I mean, you're gonna have to pull off a win against the Ravens in Baltimore.
That's
Good luck.
not happening.
Good luck. Then you got to bye. Then you're at the Seahawks on Monday night. Maybe you can stay with the Seahawks. The Seahawks looked really good, but they did play Little Sisters of the Poor yesterday against the Saints.
How's Reek Woolen looking, by the way?
He had a bunch of tackles yesterday.
Yeah.
He had 5 or 6
He's been
tackles.
kind of
Up and down.
not on the outs, but like
Yeah.
feuding a little bit with the head coach. I mean,
He's in a contract year. He needs to play well this year.
Yeah, he does. So anyway, let's get to some college football here. So UTSA beats Colorado State. UTSA might have the best running back in the entire nation.
Yeah.
He's leading the nation in rushing right now. Had another 144-yard game with the 76-yard through the air. They only won by 1 because late touchdown by Colorado State. And then Colorado State hits the extra point, but there's a flag on UTSA.
Gavin Martin.
Yeah, flag on UTSA. And so CSU takes the penalty, tries the 2-point conversion to go up with 29 seconds left. They miss the 2-point conversion. UTSA gets the onside kick. They win by 1. But I thought that the win gave a lot of confidence to the UTSA team. They went 0 for last year on the road.
Yeah.
And they gave away so many games. The Tulsa game is the one that I always think about, where you're just giving games away. You're up by 24 points, 27 points in that game.
The Rice game.
And you end up losing. Yeah, the Rice game was horrible.
Yeah, they gave up a last-second touchdown.
Yeah, they lost. These kinds of games last year are ones that they lost.
Yeah.
And so seeing them win a game like that, I think can do a lot for their confidence going forward. And that's basically what Jeff Traylor said after the game as well. Let's hear that, Luis.
I'm really proud. I know last year y'all were part of all those games. We were on the road and we fought our tails off and we lost just like that, 3 times there in the end. So I'm really our locker room is ecstatic. We've been really good on offense all year, and our defense has kind of been struggling. And now to see those guys kind of basically win the game for us.
Just being a running back I am, I know it takes patience, and that's what I've been working on more this season is being patient. And I feel like that made my game way better.
Yeah, I mean, that was the defensive performance of the season so far for them.
They were really good. They got tired at the end, and CSU changed their quarterback, and the new quarterback really gave them a lift. They had 3 guys they played, including the guy on the last play of the game who scored a touchdown earlier, who I thought was their running quarterback. But for the most part of the game, the UTSA defense dominated.
They held them to 3 points until like the last 7-8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and they were on the field the whole second half because the offense didn't do much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Colorado State's defense. I mean, that's the one thing that they've proven this year is that they can play a little defense. So I think to your point, you don't have to apologize for winning a road game, right?
No,
not around UTSA, right? I mean, it's been a minute. They had to break through at some point, and yeah, I don't think it's one of those things that for sure was bulletin board material the entire offseason. Got to find a way to win on the road. They did indeed, and hopefully that'll bear fruit here as we go through the conference schedule.
And I mean, apparently the offense can only score from 75 yards out. So,
or at least Henry.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, Robert Henry had 2 touchdowns yesterday, 76 yards and 74. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I saw the game and read that correctly. That game was on like the same time as the ASU game, and I was fully invested. We left the gala a little early so I could see the fourth quarter of the ASU game. And
it's 4 straight games of a 75-yard touch.
It's
74.
insane.
I don't know that that's ever happened. Barry Sanders did something similar his Heisman Trophy year, and it's 6 straight games of 150 yards or more. Or something like
I mean,
that.
he's going to mess around and get drafted. Like, he is extremely improved from last year,
Yeah.
and they've are lucky that he came back and was able to come back because of that junior college rule with Diego Pavia. So.
Yeah, I think the thing that you can tell when you see a guy that's making these kind of plays is it's obviously not just the physical gifts, right? He's seeing things well before they happen.
Yeah.
And like to the detriment of the other team, like it's such a joke when you can think about, well, we just got to stop this guy from hitting a home run. And that he just keeps hitting home runs, right? We were talking about this the other day with who's the kid from UTEP that was with the Packers? Now he's with the Vikings.
Jones.
It was the same thing.
Aaron
I mean, we did an UTSA UTEP game back in the day, and Aaron Jones was all world and everything, but you can stop him for 3.5 quarters, and then bam, he hits you with a 70-yard plus run, and next thing you know, you look at the stats, and he's there for 140, 150 yards.
Yeah.
And he just sees things before they develop at every single line of the defense.
Yeah, and it's going to bode well for UTSA going into conference play, who they have a brutal schedule. Like, they're brutal conference schedule. They're on a bye this week, then they play Temple. Temple had the backdoor cover of all backdoor covers on Saturday against Georgia Tech. That'll be in Bad Beats tonight for Scott Van Pelt, I'm sure. Then they play at Rice. Rice is a much improved team. They basically run a triple option Army service academy offense now. And then you're at UNT, and UNT is really good. Eric Morris has those guys pumping. They were killing Army on Saturday until Army, it's changed the quarterbacks to the Roosevelt alum, San Antonio's own Dwayne.
I'm
blanking on his last name. Coleman? Haskins? Coleman. Thank you. Yeah, and then he gets hurt in the overtime, and they have to go back to the other guy, and Army ends up losing. But UNT,
By the way, how
UNT
many
did
years
great.
is Army going to work on their stadium construction?
It's almost done.
Okay.
It looks like it's going to be fun. And then
it's still.
I was wondering how long it's going to take to get 35 completed.
Okay, but still, Then they're
Probably the same
hosting
timeline.
then they're hosting Tulane, who got beat by Ole Miss, but everyone's going to get. But a lot of people are going to get beat by Ole Miss this year. That's nothing to sneeze at. And then they're at USF, who is primed for a Group of 5 spot in the playoff. Like, that's a tough next 5 games. So UTSA is going to,
Unless North Texas ends up being that team.
they might. North Texas,
I don't see
I'm
a
all
loss
in
on
on
their
UNT.
schedule.
I'm all in on UNT, man. They're really good.
I don't see a loss on their schedule.
Those are just 3 really tough games back to back to back.
Yeah.
You got to get up, and 2 of them are on the road. That's going to suck. Those are going to be wars. All right, let's real quick talk about Texas. The Longhorns finally showing up, I'll say, against Sam Houston. They didn't play well against UTEP, didn't play well against Ohio State, didn't play well against, who's the other one that they barely beat? San Jose State. And not barely beat, but they didn't cover the really large spread. But they beat Sam Houston, and they killed Sam Houston. And Arch Manning looked like Arch Manning should look against Sam Houston. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He was 28-21, which completion percentage in the 80s. 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 5 total. After the game, he said it felt good. I wish I could have done that the last 3 weeks, but I'm glad we did it tonight. Got the ball in my guys' hands and let them go to work. Michael Taff, the leader on that defense, said he got his swagger back. Everybody knew that it was in there. What he showed tonight is what we expect. And then he showed a little frustration on the field. I think he got a taunting penalty after he ran one in. And he said that was probably some built up frustration over the past few weeks. But I thought that it was a sign of good things for.
And to be fair, the number 6 kid that he had stood over Arch 2 series earlier is when he brought him down, and so I think it was a little bit of a payback. But the thing about the Arch Manning game Saturday was not that they in the numbers, but it was to watch his arm slot, watch his feet, watch the throws that he made. That slant to Wingo for a touchdown was a really good ball. There was about a 25-yard crossing route to DJ Moore that he would have missed by 5 yards 2 weeks ago. The deep ball he dropped in with touch to Wingo for 53. So he had his fundamentals back.
Yeah, I mean, just playing with confidence, right? Trust what you see and let your guys go to work. He kind of said that. And then the other side of this is Texas defense is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be like the Texans, and you can't say that they won't do this or won't do that because their defense is going to keep them in every single game.
Trey Moore had a sack.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect Texas to do this every week, 55-0, but you're supposed to do that against Sam Houston, who's they're a bad team. They're a bad football team right now. They've lost a lot of games this year. They lost to Hawaii on the island. Like, they're just not a good football team, and you're supposed to do that. And it looks good, and it builds a lot of confidence with Texas and watching them going forward, knowing that they can do that and that they have now done it at least once. Not saying they can do this, they have the potential to do this. Now you've seen it. Now you can trust your eyes.
And they have a week off. And Florida doesn't look like the Florida that was on their schedule.
Oh, Red River's right after that.
Oh, Red River. And then Florida, you look.
It's Florida, then Red River.
Then Red River. So the next time they play is against Florida. And that's not the game that it was week 0. They've lost 3 straight.
Yeah, Florida's DJ Lagway. It looks like he has never played football before.
Yeah. So you got to go in there, and Sark's going to talk about how hard it is playing the swamp. But that's not a very good football team.
No, but I'll tell you who is a good football team, Oklahoma.
Very good.
That game is going to be a bad
Yeah, I mean, I got to see what they do against Florida first. I mean, playing road games in the SEC week in and week out, when you have to do it, I don't care who you're playing on the road in the SEC, it ain't easy.
No, it's not.
If the Arch that shows up against Sam Houston shows up in Florida, I think they win that game. If he doesn't, then Florida wins.
I don't know if Florida wins, but Todd Archer just tweeted out real quick, Pro Bowl wide receiver CeeDee Lamb could miss 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain that he suffered Sunday. So they're looking good. Things are looking up for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's even worse. Your best offensive weapon off the field for 3 to 4 weeks. That can't be good.
To make it even worse, I have him in 3 of my 6 fantasy teams. So
there's always that silver lining, though, and that is
what's silver lining? My fantasy
I have
teams
a
are
lead
screwed.
for 5 o'clock. I have a lead on a Monday for 5 o'clock, Matt.
Remember to download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell a friend, tell an enemy. Subscribe to both the News 4 and Fox SA YouTube channels to help us out there. Leave a 5-star review, helps us out a lot, especially this time of year. We'll be back on Thursday with more. See you then.